Hi everybody, welcome to what is going to be the first in a, well, hopefully a long running series of mod spotlights, but not mod spotlights for Minecraft. Oh no. These are going to be mod spotlights for Vintage Story. So with the 120 version of Vintage Story, we added, or the game had added, a couple of more chthonic monster types, the Boatorn and the Shivers, which kind of added to the entire chthonic gothic horror kind of vibe that was starting to emerge with the drifters and the rust and the rot and the storyline. And I recently started a series called Nomad, which features a kind of an expansion to that. I just scratched the back of my head with a shield. How weird. Which is the Rust and Rot mod. Now, the original author of the Rust and Rot mod was Darce, which is the version we're using for the spotlight. On Nomad, I am using a version called Rust and Rot Revisited, which is a port by activeavi for 120.7, which has got a few bug fixes in it. However, what it doesn't have is the new drifter models that were in Darce's original version. So we're going to go through each of the monsters and some of the odds, the various bits in turn. They are somewhat unpleasant in look, in appearance in many cases. If you are easily upset, this may not be the mod for you. Some of them are also pretty much terrifying, so this may also not be a mod for you. But let's start. Let me start over here now. Because of the way this is laid out, the mobs despawn if I put them in their little cages. So I'm going to start off with a mob that you should recognise fairly easily. The hollow one. And they are basically surface drifters. Nothing fancy. They are a little bit bigger. I've got some food on me, and that's it. They are basically drifters. Now let's move. Do you mind? I'm trying to record over here. Over here, there is a force field of carpenter's blocks here, so they can't get out. Or they shouldn't be able to get out. Now the next, I'm only going to put one of these down just because I want to be able to get the thing. So the next one along is the profound one, and he's a bit of a thoughtful beast. Now, deep drifter, basically. And you'll see the model is subtly different. He looks bigger, he's more muscular. Things, but in all other respects, deep drifter. Nothing fancy there. Now let's move along to the tainted one, and you're going to have to guess what this is. This is a tainted drifter. Even bigger, even worse. In every other respect, here's a tainted drifter. Nothing whatsoever to worry about. And now you see why I'm wearing a shield and armor. Come back here. Yeah, deep drifter, just a remodel, nothing fancy other than come on, you. Wish they'd stop hitting me. I am going to have to change the game mode at some points in this because I'm going to have to change into creative just to stop the things attacking me. Now, the next one along, the corrupt one, tier 3 drifter. He's huge, look at him. That's actually that's a crawling drifter, I think. Let's just try put another one down. I'll probably regret this, but oh, hello. Yeah, these are definitely somewhat more massive and impressive. Oh, he got out. Okay. Oh man, his hitbox is really difficult. Okay, we've got a problem. Yeah. Where's his hitbox? That's probably one of the things that was patched. Now, I did say that the... come here. I can't find his hitbox. About there. Damage tier 4, which is why, even though I'm wearing tailored Campbellson, he definitely packed a punch. Let's just try that again with the... see if we can get a non-crawling one. No, they're crawling again, aren't they? Alright. He's going to get out, isn't he? Let me just shoot him full of arrows a bit. Of course, I've got to find his hitbox again. You know what? We'll go in. And we'll just take him out. This is going to take a bit longer than I thought if I'm going to have to kill half of them. Let me just deal with this Chavella and I'll be back in a sec. Alright, I've now got myself a command to dig myself out the hole every time. So I should be okay. So, where were we? Corrupt 1. Now let's move along to the Nightmare one. Now the Nightmare one is, as you would expect, a Nightmare Drifter. Not a nice fella at all. But again, other than his model and the fact he's a bit of a dick, you know, just a Nightmare Drifter. Just a Nightmare Drifter, he says. Let me clear the entities so I'm not running around with all these entities about. And finally, the Caged one. Now, the Caged one is what was the two-headed Drifter. This is a truly awful model. Just look at that. The horror of that model. Again, this is just a two-headed Drifter. There's nothing fancy. If you look at the base of it, you can see its thing, but it's got the serif trapped in there, the temporal gear in its guts, spinning around. It's truly awful, in eternal pain and agony. Yeah, but other than that, it's just a two-headed Drifter. Right, now we're on to the new mobs, and I just need to get up my notes because I had to go and hey, hello, what's going on? Stop it! Right, something weird going on, losing focus. So the first mob. Oh, she's not done it. Hang on. There we go. The first new mob of Rust and Rot is the Itinerant. So the Itinerant is described in the mod as metallic wanderers, their bodies encased in remnants of ancient metal. They are 1.75 meters or blocks high, half a block wide. They can climb. They have 12 health. They do 10 melee damage, have no ranged attack, and they can spawn in groups of 8. So here you go. We'll have a few of those, and you can see they're a little bit confused. They don't know how to get to me. But the models are really good in this. And these are Rust. There's two trees of mob. There's the Rust model and the Rot models. And they Rust and the Rot creatures. Again, they've got the little cogs going in them. They're just really nicely modelled. So yeah, I'm going to need to wipe quickly anyway. So because the next one along is a Roma. Now the roamer is a traveller by nature, scavengers for need. They scuttle amongst the rusted ruins, salvaging scraps and artefacts left behind by their towering predecessors. They are 3.5 blocks high and 1.2 blocks wide. They can climb anywhere. They have 35 health. They only have 3 melee damage, but their special effect is they are bells. However, they are bells for golems, which are the next little mob down there. Which is why I may need... Oh, here you go. So they summoned these little fellas, and they are adorable, you know. I mean, look at him, he's wearing a top hat. How cute. But the models on these things are incredible. You know, they've got the stilts, the walkie. I'm actually just going to change game mode. Just to come and have a look at this fella. Look, got the Plague Doctor mask on, the lantern, almost, pardon me, a bit like an anglerfish. I love the models in these things. The sounds design is nice. I mean, look, these guys, now they're not running away, they're just plodding along, doing the thing. This guy may manage to get out, actually, because I've put things that they can climb up next to the things. But yeah, models on these things absolutely great. And let us just get rid of all of the entities, come back into survival. Even though I know for a fact that when I put this little fella down, he's going to be able to get out. So these are the golems, ancient constructs gathered from years of travel, formidable protectors of the roamers in times of need. Tells you everything you need to know. They are 1 high, they can climb anywhere, they're half wide. They have 14 health, do 3 damage, no range, and they spawn in groups of up to 3. Yep, he's a cute little chap. Pardon me, let me just get a drink. Right, so next, after we get past this cute little chap here, we go into the Rot Walkers. So there are 3 types of Rot Walkers. There are the Rot Walker Normal, there is the Minor, and there is the Blackguard. These are all corrupt versions of the same thing. So the Rot Walker Normal is a fairly basic critter. Comes in multiple models, and you know, they're quite unpleasant. Let's just say that. Hello. They are all 1.75 meters high and 1 wide. They can all climb. They normal ones have 14 health and do 2.5 damage. They have no ranged attacks between them, and the normal ones can spawn in packs of up to 7. And I need to clear them because their sound is really annoying. The deep version, the miners, which by their nature, as you would guess, will spawn underground more, appear to have less models because those all came out the same. It could have been RNG, of course, but they've got the little candle look, they've got a pick in the hand, same effects. These have 18 health, do 5 damage, and spawn in packs of 4, or packs of up to 4, I should say. Yeah, their sound effects get really annoying after a while. And then finally, the Blackguards. The Blackguards spawn 32 health and do 10 damage. Their damage tier 3 and they spawn individually. I mean, look, you can see him. The model has actually got a hole in his helmet. I'm just going to see if I can change game mode to calm them down so we can have a good look. Yeah, these guys are creepy as. So, that's all of the rock walkers. The next rock creature along is the rock pillar. This one is truly gross. We'll just stick one out. So the rock pillar has both melee and ranged attacks. It's 2 meters high, 1.2 meters wide. It can't climb. It's got 20 health, 7 damage on melee and 8 on ranged, and spawns in packs of 2. And that is an unpleasant. Oh, you see, told you, it's got. I think I'd like to step away from you for a moment and just eat a little bit of vintage beef. I only carried it because it's both healing as well as nutritious. Not overly tough though. Like I say, they have 20 health, so you know, don't take a lot to kill them. But again, utterly gross. Right, rock beasts. There are 3 varieties of rock beasts. We're going to put them all in. They are pigs, wolves and sheep. So you've got the pig rock beast. You've got the sheep rock beast. And you have got the wolf rock beast. Now I'm hoping that I've not given them a means of climbing, but they are in order. The pigs are 1 high and 1.5 wide, the wolves are 1 high and 1.2 wide, and the sheep are 1.5 high and 1 wide. They have health, pigs 8, 12 on the wolf, and sheep on have 20, and the melee damage they do is pigs 3, wolf 2 and sheep's 3, and you have just managed to get out, haven't you? And they're not overly tough, but they are utterly gross. Again, these are the idea of rot corrupting just normal animals, and they are, yeah, they're gross. Let's get rid of those. Let's move down to the miasma, another rock beast. Now this one is interesting. This one actually doesn't really have a melee attack. It does have 50 health, which means you don't want to try and kill it. And this is, again, a particularly gross looking thing, and it does this. It goes and spawns these parasitic flies, which I believe make you hungry. Either that or they just can't penetrate the armour, because I'm not really seeing any damage. The miasmas are 1 high and 1.2 wide. They can't climb. They've got 50 health, no damage, no range damage, and they spawn as 1. That's quite enough of that, if you don't mind. Moving down into here, we have the rock crawler. The rock crawler is, again, another quite gross looking rock beast. I'm not entirely sure what it's supposed to be, but it's described as a foul decay clinging to its bones, giving off a putrid stench that lingers in the air. It's 1 high by 1.5 wide. It can climb anywhere, so it can climb like a spider. This is the line there. It has 25 health. It's got a melee damage of 4 and no range damage, and can spawn in 3s. And then we come to the last of the basic mobs, the mimic. And as the Mimic sound. Mimic is 40 damage melee, range 7. Now I'm going to put one in here, but I may pop one. So look at him. Now you can attack him. He's not attacking me because I don't think he thinks he can get to me. So let's put one out here. And now we've got a problem. So damage tier 2. It's not particularly fast though. And there we have a dead Mimic. So yeah, Mimics are actually quite fun, and I can imagine they would catch you, because this really does look like just a normal loot chest. You know, there's nothing there to suggest that that is anything other than loot. Okay. Oh, you can climb, can you? Right. Sorry, that was unexpected. Can Mimics climb? They can't, so I don't know. I've got something wrong there. Now the last two fellas. These are the bosses of the game, and they're not bosses in that they have to go and find a specific place. These spawn in the overworld. This is the boiler. This is the steam golem boss. He's a big old fella, and in terms of he's 3 high, he's 2.3 wide. He can climb anywhere, so he can go straight at walls. He's got 300 health, 20 range damage, 20 damage melee, no ranged, and he does spawns as 1. However, the Rot are not to be outdone also has its boss. This is the Bone Mass, and that tries to throw skulls at you, basically. He's actually hitting himself in the process. But he's also 300 health, 20 range damage, but he does 9 with his skulls. Those skulls you can pick up as well and get the drops. So, other than that, he's very similar to this. And if we want to have a little bit of fun, we can take one of these guys. And we can take one of these guys, and we can, as I would call it, we can Harry Hill them. Because these guys really hate each other. So they should. Are you obsessing about me? Hang on. Rust and Rot normally fight. And you're going to prove me wrong, aren't you? Yeah, okay. So that's all the mobs, and they are really nicely modelled. So in addition to that, there is a thing called a miasma sac here. Miasma wart shedding, which you get from killing miasmas. And you can craft that with some iron and some things into a 9-slot backpack. It's supposed to be a 9-slot backpack. It is not actually giving you the 9 slots, so that looks like a book. Additionally, you can get a bucket of black sludge. Now that is, I believe, you basically juice a drifter gland, which drops from killing drifters, and you juice it and you get black sludge, which is an ingredient for black tar, and that is basically can be used as a repair like a pitch, but it can also be used as a fuel. A lot of the drops in this are not overly huge, but you got the black tar. You get the you will get this from a Roma bag, and you can open those. And it will drop you some stuff, in this case gold bits. anything else in there? The throwable skull, that has a recipe. You can use that to make the spinal club, which is a attack tier 5 weapon. Got a pretty good durability, pretty good damage, and you can make that there. There you go, there's our club. The boiler will drop, if I can, this, which is the Iron Shackles, which is a tier 5 minus 6 hit points, 1800 durability damage, so you can hit things with that. And in this version, that is largely it. Now, you should also have, there should be rotten leather. Which can be used to make reinforced gambles and body armor, which there's basically no recipe for, and it can be used to make rotten tunics. So if we have a look at a rotten hood, for example, that is pelts rot, and that will give you a rotten hood. And if you actually look at it, it actually increases your walking speed. It's plus on your walking speed. It did make you obviously hungry faster, but it's basic armor. And similarly, the rotten tunic has a similar kind of recipe, and that again will give you plus 15%. So if you're wearing those, yeah, you're good. Now the other one is reinforced. Let me just try gambles in there. There is down here somewhere rot reinforced gambles and body armor. It's basically slightly better than Gambleson. It's 50 more, slightly better protection, slightly better on everything, and it's just a reinforcement on a Gambleson body armor. So yeah, there are bits and pieces within the mod. There is a roadmap, you know, plans for more boss creatures, more some water creatures. But on the whole, I just like the aesthetics of the mod. I think they really kind of fit the chthonic element that kind of Vintage Stories moved into with the gothic horror, that kind of dark, horrible creature in the dark vibe. I'm enjoying it in Nomad. I would recommend checking it out. Obviously, if you don't like these mobs, you're not going to like these mobs. There's very little I can do about that. But until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.